Captain. We are the wolves.
Hey gamers, Critical Redemption here. I'm bringing you another review on The Division for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. So first up, let's talk the story and the premise. The Division sets in a narrative into the landscape of a New York that's been devastated in the aftermath of a deadly pandemic. And it gets worse here, guys. It puts you as a Division agent right in the middle of trying to restore order over the chaos, which almost seems like a shame. And one of the greatest things about the Division is the way it which presents itself. So you're in New York, it's a satisfying, faithful story. You're in a skin of snow, debris and decay, and all hell breaks loose. Every time I turn a corner or scan a street in New York, I was constantly in awe, like, oh my god, how real is this devastation, and what if it were to happen in real life? This is the story and my review of The Division for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. In terms of gameplay, The Division sets itself into 3 district areas, and it makes sense to access the success of these separately. You'll be fighting for survival as an action-oriented shooter narrative, and that's a good thing. Even though The Division is probably its weakness is a relative term here. So of course, don't let yourself think it's a major problem, but it's still good. As a shooter, The Division does feel a little bit by numbers, but that's just my opinion. By far less so that, like any modern Call of Duty or Battlefield game, it's a cover shooter. So you know what you're going to get into from action, and it does play a lot like Grand Theft Auto 5 in its regard. So where it sets itself apart, however, is how grueling and challenging it could be, and that's what will let people have the most fun in this game. You'll most often find yourself outnumbered in the missions and encounters, meaning that the use of cover has to be much more tactical, fluid than similar titles. So for example, enemies will rush and flank you when you're pinned down, and you'll often find yourself having to make a daring escape in order to survive and hope to survive. It's hardly renovating wheel, but there's enough to challenge in a shooter to keep it interesting, and that's another good thing. Also, the RPG elements of The Division, however, are perhaps the biggest triumphs and the big succession in this game. Early on, I was like a little disappointed with how few customization options were available in the character creation, but who cares? It was a short-lived notion. Once I got my hands on the full gear skilled setups, those were freaking awesome. Firstly, I was thrilled to see how The Division overcomes the age-old RPG dilemma of choosing gear that looks cool over stuff that actually boosts your character by separating clothes, armor, and options. As a result, you can craft, you look separately to your gear loadout, and even the good news that you'll be able to have an RPG, and it's a lot of fun. Even the first RPG success is a little flawless, but it's a lot of fun. Weapons and armor could also be upgraded by adding mods or crafting better versions with the various materials scattered throughout the game, and that's where the free roam comes in. Also, loot plays a huge part of The Division, and every single action or encounter has a character to grant you a useful new item, or even just something to sell a vendor while you're saving something better. So I was impressed with the gameplay and also the RPG feel. However, there was some things that managed to distract me no matter what. I was in the middle of the likes of Skyrim and Fallout 3. I had fun time trying to survive, and stopping this whole huge New York map is impressive. I mean, you'll find little nooks and crannies throughout this game, and it's going to be a lot of fun as you fight for survival in this gameplay. As far as for the graphics, they're very detailed. The Division provides a level of complex and also you'll think of it games like Fallout 4 and manage to create decent immersive worlds, but this Ubisoft new title just blows my mind. I mean, Ubisoft worked very hard for these graphics to come to what they are now. New York is immersive. The map is huge. I could fill page after page of this review by waxing little details and tidbits on how good these graphics look. But I'm not going to get into that because, like I said, the civilians look realistic. They react to you as presence as you approach them. So that's another good thing. Also, the immersive world, like I said, it just mind blows you. The numerous details and moments, every single little detail on the buildings, everything falling apart, everything from windshield splinters, even further as it's hit by a stray bullet, to the way crawling civilians will react to your presence as you approach them, is just amazing. It's like your own virtual playground, creating everything you could think of. So overall, the game story is simple, and it's, in truth, you'll actually find yourself playing through it and advancing without really realizing it, since the basic goals are survival and a return to civilized order. I mean, the story really mounds itself around your agent. So if you consider that it is merely the story of one Division agent dealing with problems of one city, you'll feel a lot better about the fact that you aren't being slapped in the face by another generic hero history. It could be more engaging in the development of its major antagonists, but it's still an overall good game, and as a shooter, it's very well done. Like I said, the RPG elements are very satisfying. I was thrilled with the amount of detail and the amount of customization for weapons and armor, also the upgrades. What impressed me the most was the RPG, like I said. And the New York map is impressively big when you realize just how many buildings and subway areas there are for exploration. I found myself streets away from my original intended goals, so often that is a wonder I've ever got in any main missions. Sometimes I would just float off and do something else. From the distant sounds of explosions to the beeps and prompts from ICAC, there's always something to throw you off track no matter where you are. So this game, for me personally, it would be a lot more fun if I were to play it with someone co-oply or multiplayer. If I played this game and I beat it alone, I would probably not replay it, and I would probably sell it. But if you're going to play together with a bunch of people, then it's going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to have so many things to do in this game. My final verdict for this game is an 8.5. 8.5 sounds just about right for what I think of this review and what to think about this game. So thank you so much for watching my review, and 8.5 is what I give it. Make sure to check out my other videos and comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll be having more updates and video game reviews soon. As always, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and once again, happy gaming and take care. Critical Redemption out.